Most people think wealth comes from doing more. More trades, more research, more stress. But this book says the real path is almost the opposite. It says you do not need to outsmart the market. You need a plan you can actually live with. And that matters because money can feel like a mess. So many people are trying to get ahead, but they feel lost in advice, fees, fear, and noise. I think that is why this book stands out. It does not try to impress you, it tries to free you. The simple path to wealth is really about one thing: getting your life back. Not with a magic trick, with simple rules that work over time. And once you see how clear it is, the whole money game starts to look very different. J.L. Collins starts with a simple truth. Money is not just for buying things, it is for buying freedom. That means being able to leave a bad job, say no to pressure, make choices from strength, not fear. That is why he talks about FU money. It sounds funny, but the idea is serious. It means having enough so you are not stuck. What I like about this is that it shifts the goal. A lot of people chase money for status. Collins says the real prize is options, and that feels much more real. The book also says you have to spend less than you earn. That sounds basic, but it is the first door. If every raise turns into more spending, you never build freedom. You only build a bigger life trap. The path begins when the gap between earning and spending gets wider. One of the strongest lessons in the book is the power of a high savings rate. Collins shows that saving 10% is very different from saving 50%. The more you keep, the faster you move. That is the engine of the whole plan. This part hits me because a lot of people think wealth comes from one big win, but in real life, it usually comes from many small choices. Cooking at home, not upgrading too fast, ignoring pressure to spend like everyone else. The book does not shame people for wanting nice things. It just makes one point very clear. If you want more freedom later, you have to protect more of your money now. That is what makes this idea powerful. It turns wealth into a habit, not a lottery ticket. And habits are something you can actually control. The next big idea is simple investing. Collins says most people do not need to chase hot stocks or pay high fees. Instead, he points to broad market index funds. These funds spread your money across many companies, so you're not betting on one winner. You just own a slice of the whole market. This is where the book gets really practical. The financial world often makes investing sound hard because hard things sell. But Collins keeps showing that low-cost index funds are often better than active investing for most people. Why? Fees, mistakes, stress, and the fact that very few active managers beat the market for long. The weird part is that the boring choice is often the smart one. That is the book in a sentence. Not flashy, not dramatic, just steady, low cost, and hard to mess up. If there's one thing this book keeps repeating, it is this. The hardest part is not math. It is behavior. Anyone can feel confident when the market is rising. The real test comes when it falls. That is when fear gets loud and people want to sell. Collins says you have to decide ahead of time that you will stay the course. He uses the image of tying yourself to the mast, like a sailor who knows a storm is coming and does not want panic to take over. I think this is one of the most useful ideas in the whole book. A lot of people do not fail because they are stupid. They fail because they react too fast. So the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be steady. A simple plan only works if you can stick with it when life gets rough. The book ends up giving a very clear way to think about money. First, spend less than you earn. Second, keep your savings rate high. Third, use low-cost index funds. Fourth, avoid debt that drains your future. Fifth, stay calm when the market drops. That is the heart of the whole message, not more noise. more clarity. And that is why this book helps so many people. It is not trying to turn you into a finance expert. It is trying to give you a path you can trust, one that is simple enough to follow for years, not just days. If you have felt overwhelmed by money advice, this book is a reset. It says wealth is not built by panic or complexity. It is built by simple choices repeated over time. If you want more book ideas made simple, subscribe to the 5-Minute Shelf.